I can't get jiggy with this shit. Like on no level. I've tried, man. I tried.
Speak your truth.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he says that.
He does.
We can't be friends without the truth. He says it.
I can't get into it, man. I can't.
All right, cool.
So you and that's grown apart. Clearly.
That's Dead End Hip Hop album review, Uncommon NASA, written at night. This is the second project that we reviewed from Uncommon NASA, right? What was the name of the first?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, New York Telephone. I see the album cover in my head. I don't remember the name. Yo,
What's the problem, man?
I tried multiple times to get into this. I can't at all. I'm sorry.
How is it that much different than New York Telephone?
I don't remember New York
Doesn't
Telephone.
this sound a little bit more sensible?
It does.
Yeah,
I don't remember that album. I'm just saying I don't remember. How long ago was that?
That was like 2014.
So like 3 years.
Uh-huh.
You know how much shit I done listened to in between then?
I'm just
saying, as a person I've grown in 3 years, as a music.
Don't try to make this some old growing pain shit. No, you're not gonna pull that. I've grown as a person and I've grown away from liking NASA.
No.
No, we're not doing that.
Look, I don't remember what the hell I said, so that's one of the reasons I don't remember at all. I just remember the album cover. Like I see it in my head.
Oh my God.
But yo, I can't get into this, man. The beats, they're so slow. Him rapping is so, I don't even know what the hell he talking about half the time. Like, yo, I can't get into this project.
Did you listen to this?
I've listened to this about 5 times. And
What was he saying that you couldn't understand?
No, not that.
He's not even coded.
No, not audible. Not.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm saying he's not really coded.
He's not
like that,
coded,
so.
but it's just
The way he puts it together, maybe?
Yes,
Yeah,
like
I
it
got you,
don't hit me, man. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, like what is he talking about? Like I keep zoning out. Every time I play it, no matter if I listen to it in the car, my headphones, got a speaker playing, I tune this shit out.
I just need a deeper explanation. So is it really his rhyme scheme more than anything? Oh, you said the beat.
I said it was the production and him. You know what I'm saying? Even the features, because the features kind of played into what everything that was happening, and I couldn't. There was nothing that stood out. No.
None of what he's saying is surprising me. That's why.
No, man, you look like Guilty Simpson?
No, nothing.
You got Guilty Simpson on it?
Yeah.
I had listened to it.
Man, Rod.
Yeah. Sorry.
Damn.
I didn't know we all were gonna review it.
Man, Rod.
I didn't know we was all gonna review it too. I thought it was supposed to be a one-on-one.
You tried to squeeze some listens in.
Nah, man. Look.
That's what happened.
Look. No.
I'm not doubting you not liking it. Yeah. I know you didn't like it. I wouldn't expect you to like it.
I don't want to like all the way just take a big crap on it because I know the man. But oh my, this was tough, man.
Look, if NASA got upset about you not liking this album, then I feel like NASA has never seen this show.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Cause this hip hop, this type of hip hop, is not for me
I get it.
at all.
It's like this.
So how was the first one for you?
I don't remember the first one.
I think Ralph bullshit on that first one. You had to. It didn't sound any different.
I don't
But you
remember.
were like, yo, this shit right here though? This shit. Yes, he gave a bump in the whip stamp. Because NASA was like, dope. Everybody liked my shit.
And those beats was way more experimental than
And I think the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I think when I first saw like the track list for this one, I was really interested in the features. Looking at some of the features he had on here, Guilty Simpson, Open Mike. He's working with Open Mike Eagle, but I like Open Mike Eagle. Oh No, Curly Castro, Skip Coon was the one that really interested me.
Skip Coon, dope, man.
Yeah, because he just sounded really good on that beat, man, and you know, it's this southern type flow was just, I don't know, man, it was just dope the way he just laced that shit. You know, of course, Billy Woods and Quelle Chris. Man, the way Quelle,
all these people on this?
yeah,
Maybe you should listen to shit.
yeah, that's what made it really interesting.
Yeah,
that he was working with all these people and they all fit within what he was doing.
Right.
And the way like Billy Woods ended his verse, and then Quelle Chris
Yes,
picked.
picked right up.
Yeah,
fit
man.
right up.
Bruh,
That song is amazing.
Yes, dude.
that's one of the highlights. You know,
And it
what
was
you
a
talking
title
about?
track.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I'm just shaking my head.
I think he's listening to his old review
I am.
to see if we're wrong, which we're not.
I was about to say, like, even you gotta be like, yeah, that was dope.
No, he doesn't.
Nah, that shit
not his
was
style.
tight. Nah, I feel you. But yeah, God's aim, the patient, like I think looking back, Mike Ladd was interesting to me. The way he was rapping on that beat, kind of real slow and,
That was the only track I didn't
measured.
like on this album. That was the only track I didn't like.
Which one?
Black Hole. That was the only track I didn't
How?
like.
What do you like about
I
it?
think it was the production. I think that one was the most experimental type. Yeah, that's the only
Wow.
track I was like, oh man. Yeah, I think it was just that synthy beat was too nuts for me. That was the only track I didn't like. Jesus Christ.
What else, P?
Yeah, you said what?
Go ahead. What else you got?
Oh no, I mean other than that, I love this album. It was really interesting hearing Guilty Simpson, kind of rhyme in this style, because usually, Guilty Simpson is more what you call it, traditional, I guess you want to say. So to hear him go over this type of production by NASA, I was like, oh, okay, Gil, because for me it took him out of his comfort zone, and I think Gil did, he did a fairly good job in that particular comfort zone. Another one of my favorite joints is Small Change. I love that fucking Mario bonus beat type style and then some of these guys I never heard of before. Furious P, I thought he was dope as
Yeah, I
hell.
haven't heard of him either.
Yeah, I never heard of him. And King Kashmir, that name didn't ring a
Of
bell.
Strange You. I don't know Strange
Yeah, and I was like, damn, like even it was these guys. It was my first time hearing them over this type of production from NASA, and I was like, damn, this shit was dope. The thing I was really surprised about with this album that I enjoyed was, even though I'm always, damn, why you featuring all these people? But the features, I think it worked. I think the grand scheme of this album, I think the features really, didn't nobody like outshine nobody. It wasn't like, oh my god, like he outshined. NASA didn't let no one spotlight him over his album. I thought that was dope, and I was surprised to see. Well, I ain't gonna say surprised, but I think by it being on Man Spice Dog, I thought he was gonna kind of let some other producers kind of get in with the production. I wasn't expecting NASA to entirely produce it, even though he's done before. I mean, he's done it plenty of times, but I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, I like the whole anthology, whole time for midnight, written at night, because I think, and this is just from someone who like to make beats. Sometimes I think just from a creative standpoint, you make some of your best shit at night, like in the night out.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But just creative, just being creative. I think instead of making an album during the daytime or during evening hours, I think people make some of their best shit from 2 a.m., 1 a.m. and everything. So I think NASA did a good job of kind of taking us through that, I guess say journey, I guess, for him creating this album, because I felt like listening to this album, I really felt like 12 a.m. these songs was composed, 1 a.m. these songs composed. But yeah, overall, I really thought this was definitely production-wise the most successful type of production that I've heard NASA produce out of the albums that I've listened to him so far. Yeah, this was a good album. This was definitely a solid album.
Yeah, I'm with B. I thought this album was dope as shit. And I definitely thought the idea of going from 12 to 4 was really interesting. And the thing that's so cool about it, and I don't even know if this is intentional, but it feels like the production was getting more and more like weird as you go along from 12 to 4. So it's almost like your brain is getting more spaced out. The only exception was God's Aim, because that song kind of mellowed out.
Yeah.
But the rest of these, it seems like the more you go with the album, it's like the production gets more and more frantic. But I thought the way it started out was just dope. Like that first jam, the Midnight Grown Apart, was just like, I should probably have a drink for this, pass a liquor as we reminisce. I was like, man, this is really more proggy. Like, this is probably the most proggy his production has been, but it still comes off more accessible. It doesn't come off too weird. I knew he had a gang of features on this, but I thought every feature came through and totally did their thing. Like on Extra Lives with Open My Eagle, I was wondering how Open My Eagle was gonna freak that beat, because that beat was more up tempo than what we normally expect from him, and he did his thing perfectly. Looking back with Skip Coon and Black Tokyo was just nasty. Black Hole with Mike Ladd, Bruh, you're bugging. Okay, so so on New York Telephone, I remember thinking like I hadn't heard from BMS in a long ass time. I was like, man, what's BMS doing? All of a sudden, BMS pops up on NASA's album. I had promised you I had just recently put something out where I was like, man, where the fuck is Mike Ladd? And Mike Ladd pops up on NASA's album, and I thought that song was dope as fuck. I thought the beat was cool as shit because it wasn't like everything else on here. And I thought the way NASA and Mike Ladd wrote that beat was just dope. Like, this album to me is just, it's super New York B-boy, which is why I knew you weren't gonna like it. It does not sound like something that you would hand to your average rap listener and be like, yo, check this out and see if you like
Hell,
it.
motherfucking no.
But man, you gonna respect like this old school indie underground New York rap. Like, this is the kind of shit that I'm glad he's still doing it. Because I'm glad somebody's keeping this sound alive. Because so many other people have completely abandoned this sound and just been like, I'm not fucking with this anymore. But dudes like him are still doing it and doing it extremely well. But it's not gonna appeal to everybody. But those old New York dudes that are still putting up fucking graph on shit, that are still breakdance, yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, this is New York rap. Like, this is NY hip hop.
And you remember I said that when we reviewed New York Telephone, I was like, yo, when I listen to this, I just get that B-boy New York feel that I love so much.
Yeah,
like
everything feels New York about this album. Everything feels so fucking New York on a train.
Yep.
Like, I can't put a Jay-Z album on, but like, yeah, this feels like New York. I can't put a Nas album on and say It Is Written doesn't feel New York to me. This kind of shit. I think y'all are totally okay. You are half listening to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. When I go to New York and I listen, especially you ain't never been there. So how you?
Because I have an idea.
And you don't even been
Because I have an idea. Because that's what I think is so special about like Illmatic is like, even though I never been there.
That's why. See, I knew you were half listening to what I said.
I wasn't half listening. You said Nas. Nas doesn't. So I think
what did I
Illmatic.
say? Thank you, B. When I go to New York and I ride around in those New York
bastard.
Because when he said it, I was like, huh? But then he said it was written. I was like, okay.
I knew what y'all were doing. I knew y'all were listening to what I was saying. When I heard you. When I go to New York and I ride those trains around, you cannot put on It Is Written and be like, yeah, this feels right.
That was some sneaky shit.
That was the
Because y'all,
I thought you said no.
That wasn't sneaky.
But that was sneaky.
I was trying to explain my point.
I thought you said Nas.
I did say Nas, but I said
I didn't hear It Is Written part.
Illmatic feels New York.
Yes, okay.
It Is Written does not feel New York. Untitled does not feel New York.
Yeah,
Infamous feels New York.
Yes.
Like, yes. Those albums, they feel New York.
Right.
And that's what's so special. This album, I feel like if you got on a train and put this album on, it would just feel perfect.
Yeah, I get you.
Perfect.
Didn't he have the sound effects in there too on this album? Like
he does that. Yeah.
That's dope.
Because he, I'm telling you, he is like, at this point, he's like the quintessential underground NY artist. You put, and people have.
I can see that without even listening to it. I can
because he just feels.
Yeah,
New
you
York.
just see.
But I'm saying, if you've been there and you've been to like the grimy parts of New York, albums like this make things so much more open and obvious. And I think that's what I appreciate so much about NASA's music is it feels New York without having to say, I'm from New York. I'm from this area. I ride these trains. Like, there's not a single jam on here that I don't like. God's Aim, even though that's a beat that I'm not super head over heels about, I think it works perfectly because the chemistry between NASA Bronze and Short Fuse is just so perfect. And the way it goes into The Patient, Jesus fucking Christ, that's my favorite beat on this whole shit. Like, that beat is crazy. And again, that chemistry between NASA, Gaja, Oh No, and it's perfect.
I listened to my part in the first review, and the first thing I said was, this is not my type of hip hop. And it was 2 tracks that stood out to me on New York Telephone.
But you still gave it a positive review and said you liked it. You did, bro. I know you did.
Well, in that first part, because obviously, you know, when we used to do the people shit, I went first and I just heard that first part. And I said that there was 2 tracks that I like, but this is not my type of hip hop. And on this album, there's nothing I like, and it's still not my type of hip hop. 0 for me.
Damn, bro.
I didn't like nothing, dude.
That's disrespectful as hell.
That's
like,
cool.
wait a minute. Wait. No, go ahead. Go
Motherfucker
ahead.
like French fucking Montana, but don't like nothing on a real, like a serious. No, man, that's disrespectful as fuck. Like, no, we got to iron this out. I would not expect you to like it.
Like this
you
right
don't like a single song.
I was not entertained, Mike. Every single time, I just start to zone
Think of the
out.
spectrum, man. Remember we just talked about that, like the French.
But I was more positive about fucking French than he was about
That's
this.
cool. That's cool.
But even
That's your problem.
Think of some of the
That's not
other,
my.
think about this, Mike. Think of some of the other like more.
What I eat don't make you shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Friends, if you want to.
that we like, and he like, and we be like, how the fuck can you listen to this shit?
No. That you miss him. No. Y'all ain't gonna do that shit to me. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I said from the very beginning of this review, I think the first thing I said was I expected Ralph to hate this.
Right.
I am not even remotely surprised that Ralph didn't like this. I was more surprised when he said he liked New York Telephone. I'm like, how the fuck you like
Okay,
this
I
shit?
got you.
But
I don't.
you did.
I got it.
Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on. No, listen to me right now for a minute. We gotta go. We gotta finish this. I'm saying that for you to say you don't like nothing, not a beat, not a verse, nothing.
Okay,
Even the wackest project that come out, I can still say, well, shit. You know what? That song was alright. You over here, I don't like none. Zero.
Look, there was one beat that kinda.
No, that's not good enough, man. You ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna be. There was one beat that I kinda.
But that's why I said nothing. Because it was like one beat,
man.
the one with the patient. Yeah, well, no. Like that beat, I was like, oh, okay, like this is. But then the whole rap in the slow, I can't do it.
Let's go.
I can't do it, man.
Let's go.
I tried. Trust me, I tried. I tried to put this shit in the whip, and like I couldn't.
Hey, look.
I couldn't, man. I'm sorry.
Just check your mentions, man. Just check your mentions after this drop.
That's cool.
Favorite tracks, man. God
He don't
damn.
have it.
I don't have none.
Let this man go.
He said
I said already.
Are you sure? You want to? That's your final answer.
I'm positive. Yes, that's my final answer. That's my final answer.
All right.
Wow.
All right, go ahead, B.
Favorite tracks.
Holy shit. He's like looking back.
Extra Live, Small Change, Written at Night, The Patient. Fuck, I'm doing the FIFA on there. Speak the truth.
5. Okay.
Take the truth.
Yeah, I'm with B. This is tough.
Yeah. So I'm looking like.
I'm gonna say It's Midnight. Extra Lives, definitely. The Patient, easy. Black Hole, easy. And I'm gonna say Gingerbread and Written at Night. I don't give a fuck if I went over 5.
Bonus track.
All right, let me get Written at Night,
Dope as fuck.
Black Hole. Let me get The Patient, Small Change, and did I say Looking Back?
Say it again. Don't matter.
Looking
say
back.
it twice.
Looking Back.
Uncommon. Hey, bro. Don't listen to nothing that coming out of this right here. You need to listen to that man right there with the dreads, cause this is not my type of hip hop. This is not my type of hip hop. If Mike is saying that you are one of the most prominent underground New York MCs still doing it and moving that way, then I gotta take his word for it, because the type of hip hop that you make is just simply not for me. It's as simple as that. The same way, like sometimes we all have a project here that we just kind of like, oh hell no. This is the one, man. This is the one. Like I don't get the appeal. I don't get it. I don't get it. It does 0 for me.
Good job with this album, man. I think you did a great job of. I think with the features, the features did a great job of taking your production and taking it to the next level, man. Because you always have like your production is always challenging for for people to listen to an MC. Like I said, for me, Guilty Simpson was the one I was like, how is he gonna pull this off? And he did a great job. Of course, like the rest of the artists you had on there, I think they fit your production so well because we're familiar with their music with Oh No and Open Mike Eagle, and taking us in the journey of your process at night of making an album, making a song. So yeah, I think you did a great job of conveying that out there. So great job with the album, man.
Man, you already know, this is my shit. This is my shit all fucking day. So it's almost like me being in a review for this shit is just pointless. Because I love this type of rap. I love that motherfuckers are still doing this type of rap. I love that motherfuckers are still making beats that are not just making my head bob in a normal way. They're making me have to do like this kind of shit, you know? And I think that this is one of your most interesting albums because I think that whole concept of writing an album from 12 midnight until 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. is just, it's a really dope idea. And there are just lines everywhere that I really, really enjoyed. And I like that you're not coded, but I like that you put everything so poetically. You know what I mean? Like shit like, it's hard to be bigger in a world where everyone thinks they're a skyscraper. Like that's one of my favorite lines from this album. Like NASA knows that he's not making an album for everybody. So I think he would have been more shocked if every single person at this table walked away saying this album was amazing. He would be extremely shocked. But I think it goes more to NASA's character that someone like you hates this. It just makes sense.
NASA, if you're watching, yeah, I think for me, man, you're really becoming very interesting to me from project to project because when I reflect back on New York Telephone and Halfway, it's like, and now this one, it's like everyone has its own life, you know, and a character to itself. And I find that really, really interesting because now I'm thinking about the next one. But speaking specifically to this one and looking at the approach with this one and work at the number of artists that you work with on here and how it all managed to come together. Anyway, man, just keep doing what you're doing and I'll definitely keep listening.